panted as she opened the shed door. "Oh, please be here, Leica." It was all right. The boat was still there waiting for her. Pulling it across the grass and then into the water, she dared to look behind her for the first time. Her stomach twisted with fear. The gang was storming down the hill, weaving in and out of the crumbling gravestones. Zoe moved faster. She clambered aboard and put the oars out, then started to pull. They were at the water now, and though one or two stopped, the rest came splashing madly after her. "Take me with you! Come back! We won't hurt you! Just take us with you!" Zoe could see their eyes clearly. She saw fear. But since she'd lost her parents, she'd made it a rule not to trust anyone. Zoe had heard people say they'd lost someone, when really they meant they had died. In Zoe's case, lost meant exactly that. It was still unbelievable, and so stupid. She looked at the crowd in the water again. If she went back, there'd be a fight over her boat, and she wouldn't have a chance. She rowed on, pulling harder, even though she was safely away. She watched as the people slowly dragged themselves out of the water and waded back to the shore. Natasha was there too. Her blonde hair hung wet across her eyes. Her clothes were soaking, but she didn't care. Even from this distance, Zoe could see the anger on Natasha's face. That hurt most of all. Natasha was the closest thing she had to a friend. Zoe used to see her when the supply ships came, before they stopped coming. After that, she saw her sometimes at the allotments, when she went to put some work in to earn food. They would only have a little chat, but it was enough to keep Zoe from cracking up. But now the allotments had sunk into chaos too. Zoe suddenly remembered their conversation the last time they'd met. "What have you been doing?" Natasha had asked suspiciously. That made Zoe nervous. It wasn't long ago that they'd laughed and joked with each other, but something had changed between them. Nothing. I haven't been doing anything." She had been about to tell Natasha about her boat and her plans to escape, but had decided not to. Maybe Natasha had guessed. From something Zoe had let slip? It didn't matter now. The crowd stood quietly, watching her as she rowed away. Zoe didn't feel scared of them anymore. "Sorry," she said to herself quietly. She began to cry, but she didn't stop rowing. Her uncut hair fell across her eyes, but she didn't stop to push it away. Still she rowed on, her thin, hunched frame working the oars, until finally she had to pause for breath. Feeling around in her pocket, she fished out her compass. It was the last thing she owned that had belonged to her parents. For that reason, she'd kept it in a pocket. If she hadn't, she'd have lost it when she dropped her pack. It was a little dented from her leap over the cemetery wall, but it was still working. She pointed herself southwest and rowed. She couldn't remember the name of the place the supply ship used to come from, but she knew the big bit of Britain was somewhere in that direction. She was rowing away from all she had ever known. It was a strange thing. Before the previous night, she had only ever pretended to row. Her dad had taught her, in the same methodical way he did everything. "You'll need to know how to do this one day," he told her. Her mum and dad had taught her a lot of stuff about survival, just in case the time came when she was on her own. And so, every now and then, when they weren't busy just trying to get by, they'd sit in an old bathtub and pretend to row. Her dad was tall, and Zoe took after him. With both of them in the bath, they would end up elbowing each other. Then Dad would pull one of his faces, and they would collapse into laughter. Even though it had seemed like a game to Zoe at the time, her dad had made sure she was doing it right. Now she was rowing for real,